Hey guys, this is Persephone and this is another video for the Hermit Tarot. So I wanted to do a video today. It's not going to be a quick video. This is going to be a video for Jeffree Star. I will go ahead and put the picture up just in case you are not familiar with Jeffree Star. For those who are not familiar with him, he is a beauty influencer on YouTube who has been big since the MySpace days. I believe he was a musician back in the day over 15 years ago, and for the last 5 to 7 years he's actually been a beauty guru, meaning that he's not only been a beauty influencer but he's also been an entrepreneur who is a makeup distributor or creator, I should say. So there has been a lot of drama with him lately, and I wanted to get an insight for him, but I just wanted to focus on his love relationship with Nate. Now, for those who are not familiar with Nate, and I believe his last name was Nate, let me pull this up, Nate Schwandt, and they actually broke up in the beginning of January of this year of 2020. So I believe that, well, I know for a fact Jeffree Star is a Scorpio and Nate is actually a Leo, which was so coincidental because when I pulled out my cards today, the Leo and the Scorpio card always come out. Well, they came out first. So for those who are not interested in like the backstory, you can go ahead. I will timestamp the video. But this video is again focusing on Jeffree Star and Nate and their relationship. There's been a lot of speculation that they are together. So a lot of, I'm just going to zoom in and out throughout this video. A lot of people will tell you that I'm not familiar with who I'm reading, or I don't follow up on the drama, I don't follow up on information. I think that's completely dishonest as a psychic, as a healer, as a clairvoyant, as someone who does this and practices day in and day out. Before I read any celebrity or any person who is famous, I like to do my astrology homework first, meaning just because someone is not familiar with supposedly the drama or the information, that's not to say that they really are not familiar. And the research that I did on Jeffree was, I wanted to know his sun, moon, and rising, and I wanted to know his Pluto and Venus, meaning his Venus is going to tell me exactly how he loves, and his Pluto is going to tell me how destructive he can be and how his relationships and friendships play out. And same thing with Nate. I wanted to know his sun, moon, and rising, his Venus, and his Pluto. So for those who are interested, Jeffree Star is actually a Scorpio, which I'm really not surprised. His sun is in Scorpio, his moon is in Capricorn, and his Venus is in Scorpio, and his Pluto is in Scorpio. And it doesn't have information of his rising sign. So his rising signs usually tell you how a person is striving to be. That will be like their ultimate goal. That is who all their life's work is, to become this person, right? So let's say his rising sign was, I don't know, I'm just here guessing that point because I don't have that information. In order for you to have someone's rising sign, you need to know what time they were born. Let's say his rising sign was Scorpio. That means that he strives to be Scorpio in all his houses, in all his personality traits, when it comes to work, when it comes to love, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to destroying and destructive behavior. Ultimately, that is what he's striving to be. So Nate actually is, let's see here, Nate is a sun in Leo, moon in Virgo, Venus in Cancer, and his Pluto is in Scorpio. So what does that tell me? That tells me that when it comes to being destructive, when it comes to building their relationships and destroying relationships, Nate and Jeffree have very similar personality traits when it comes to that. When it comes to Venus, as I stated before, I believe Jeffree is a Scorpio in Venus. Let's see what he is. He's a Scorpio in Venus, but Nate is a Cancer in Venus, meaning that Nate tends to be a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more emotional, a little bit more vocal with how he's feeling, and physical with how he's feeling. Jeffree is not like that. Jeff chooses to be very careful with how whatever he says is exactly what he means. That is not how Jeffree Star is. Jeffree Star is the type of person that he'll say something, but he won't mean it. Meaning that there are times where Jeffree can be very deceitful. It also means that Jeffree has a very playful side to him. So meaning that he loves to be around people, but Jeffree is the type of person that he doesn't mind being around people that he personally doesn't like. Nate is not like that. Nate is more like quality over quantity is better for me. But that is not how Jeffree works. Jeffree is more quantity over quality. Because Jeffree feels that as long as no one is better than him, then he doesn't care. So this is going to be a love reading for Jeffree Star and Nate Schwandt. I have both of their birthdays, so that's how I know how to read and what information I should be looking for. So again, before we start this reading, just a quick reminder, I am running a contest for those who are interested in having a free personal reading with me. Just go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will pick a winner for the end of the month. And it would really mean a lot to me if you go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know if you like this video and if there are any other YouTubers that you would love for me to read. Just a quick heads up, I do have a couple of videos coming up. I have a video exposing Tekashi 6ix9ine, just his love life. I have another one on Trisha Paytas, and I have another one on Rich Lux coming up. And those were heavily requested through email, so definitely stay tuned for those if you're very interested. Now, I need to know the relationship between Jeffree Star and Nate. Let me know. What? The Magician came up right away. The Magician means there was a lot of things that were exposed when this relationship came into play. What does that mean? That means that Nate was very aware of who Jeffree was. Even though Jeffree states that Nate had no idea who he was, and that Nate, I think, hit him up through DM or whatever the case was. That's not true. That's not true. Nate hit him up knowing who he was. And let me tell you something about Nate. Nate has a very sexual nature, meaning when it comes to Nate, as I mentioned before, his Venus is in Cancer, right? His Pluto is in Scorpio, but his Sun is in Leo. What does that mean? So, Nate and Jeffree started off very slow. It wasn't as fast as maybe some people might think. Nate approached Jeffree knowing who he was and knowing exactly what he was getting into, meaning not necessarily that he knew that this guy was rich, or this person was an entrepreneur, or this person lived in a mansion, because I believe that Jeffree didn't even have all of that. What Nate knew was that this person was in the life, meaning that this person was all about fast living, drugs, music, money, rock, celebrity status. He knew that Jeffree had that potential to be something bigger than life, right? And what are Leos attracted to? Leos are attracted to extravaganza, extravagant things. Leos love a whole production. If you make a whole scene, Leos are attracted to that. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go over like sexuality, meaning straight, gay, or bisexual, because I don't think that it matters at this point. I think that it's been discussed that Nate has had sex with women and men, meaning that he's bisexual, and that's why I say that Nate was very aware of what was coming into it. Now, when he approached Jeffree, he did approach in a romantic way, and Jeffree was actually not interested in Nate when he first saw him. Not because he didn't find him attractive, but it was more because Jeffree already had been through a lot of turmoil when it came to his relationships, and he actually had a broken heart when Nate had approached him with a love proposal. And to be honest, I don't think that Jeffree was very mentally stable, I would like to say, when Nate hit him up. Another thing that we need to know is that Nate has a lot of information on Jeffree. Now, again, this is not a video that's going to talk about the recent drama and allegations about Jeffree being a racist, making inappropriate comments over Trisha Paytas's weight and appearance. That's going to be a whole separate video. Again, I do need to say that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes. I do not know Jeffree Star personally. I do not know Nate personally. I have not been reached out to. I have not been approached. And I have not approached either Nate or Jeffree. So I need to make that very clear. Another thing that I do need to specify, everything is alleged here. I do not want to have a lawsuit on my hands. So the information that I give you, as I stated before, is all alleged, and this is coming from the tarot cards. This is coming from the reading. So again, this is not information that has been told to me or I have not witnessed for myself with Jeffree. Okay, so back to the reading. Jeffree Star has also been the type of person that, even though it might have seemed that he had a rough beginning, and he might have, he definitely had a rough beginning when it came to family, but he's always had a lot of love options. Believe it or not, Jeffree has always been approached by men who were in questioning their sexuality and taking on their fetishes with him, right? Jeffree Style, I don't know why I keep saying styles. Jeffree Star has always been used sexually, meaning that when he was approached by love options, it was kind of like people wanted to release their fetishes and their kinks, but they were very secretive about their relationship with him. I got the Ace of Cups and the Moon. If anyone knows how to read tarot cards, you definitely know what that means. The Moon means secret, nighttime, not being exposed, affairs, secret relationships, secret affairs. So again, Jeffree has always been approached and actually has been very well taken care of by a lot of the men that did approach him originally. This was way before Nate came. So when Nate actually approached Jeffree, Jeffree was not interested at first. And it wasn't because he didn't find him attractive. It was more that he was so used to dealing with men who had money, men who were secretive, men who were willing to offer him some sort of stability financially. And he saw that Nate was not one of those people. Nate was not able to offer him any stability, any financial guarantee. And it was very different. And he knew that Nate was just there just to kind of, you know, like he was attracted to him, but Nate was attracted to Jeffree, but Jeffree was just like, okay, well, what else? What else can you do for me? I'm gonna read their love life as a story. Let's see here. At the time when Nate approached Jeffree, he actually was already seeing someone, and he actually was seeing another person, another gentleman. It wasn't another woman. It was actually another man. I'm not this information I don't know because I don't watch Jeffree Star as much as some of you might watch him. I'm not sure if Nate made Jeffree think that he was his first like gay relationship, but that's not true. Nate has been with other men before, and actually when he approached Jeffree, he was in some sort of sexual interaction with another man, and he actually made a decision to go towards Jeffree because he felt that there was more fun, I should say, more of a fun factor. Once Jeffree Star had decided to date Nate. At first, Nate was okay with the relationship, meaning that he was okay with the lifestyle because I don't think that Jeffree had made money right away, but there was a lot of there was a lot of drugs involved. There was a lot of drugs involved. And the thing with threesomes, I think was mentioned before. I don't think Nate has ever stopped having sex with women. Nate has always had the option to have sex with women. Now, if that was something that Jeffree knew about, or Jeffree approved, or Jeffree allowed at this point, that's yet to be seen. You see how the cards flew out? That means that there was some sort of, there wasn't a control in that matter. In the beginning, before Nate had decided to move out with Jeffree, and that was, the moving to Jeffree's house was not actually Nate's decision. That was something that Jeffree wanted. But it was not because he was so in love with Nate. It was more of a way to control Nate, a way to control the narrative, a way to control what was happening. And again, yeah, it was loyal and domestical, meaning somebody that's bringing in the information. Nate wanted to be faithful. Nate has always been the type to be faithful, but when it comes to sexual relationships, when he was single, he had a lot of options. And again, I have to stress that Jeffree was not the first man that Nate slept with. When he did start going out with Jeffree, it was a lot of heavy drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of uncertainty, and they felt loyalty towards each other because they were the only ones who really could relate to the chaos that was going behind the scenes. Meaning that Nate didn't necessarily come from a bad upbringing, but he was so hungry to live a life that was the opposite of what he already had. And I don't know if he's from Nebraska or one of those country folk. A lot of land. I see a lot of land. I see farm. I don't know if Nate is from around there, but Nate wanted to get out and wanted to experience the city life. And Jeffree was willing to give that to him. And let me tell you something. Early in the beginning of their relationship, there was a possibility that Nate was actually involved with a pregnancy.
Hey guys, this is Persephone. So as I was editing this video, as you heard before in the beginning, that tarot reading, the full reading for Nate and Jeffree Star's relationship actually was almost 2 hours. So I'm actually going to be breaking down their relationship in different videos. So this video was just part one, discussing how they met, what their interaction was, and how the beginning of the relationship came to be. Now, I will be having other videos that go into more detail about blackmail, cheating, threesomes. Was Nate actually paid? Was he an actor? And is there sort of any lawsuit or gag order that's been placed on Nate, or vice versa? Is there a lawsuit or gag order that's placed on Jeffree Star? So if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know if you're a Jeffree Star fan, if you were rooting for their relationship, or is this not a YouTube celebrity that you make sure you stay tuned. And my name is Persephone, and I hope you have a very lovely and safe week.